All right, welcome to another episode of the Glory Boys podcast. My name's Austin.
And I'm Darren.
And we are your hosts. Welcome to a power-packed episode. This is going to be a short and sweet but fun one.
Yeah, it is.
We're going to talk about some horror stories and ultimately how you should not be that guy.
Don't be that guy. Let's roll the intro.
All right, we're going straight into the episode this week. No small talk.
Yeah, because this is just a funny topic.
Yeah.
You know that guy. Like, just, you can walk into a room and you're like, that guy is that guy.
That's right.
And so we've had a lot of those don't be that guy kind of moments. One of them being, a lot of them being at weddings.
Yeah. Yeah, it happens every once in a while. You know, you get a photographer, and I know it happens vice versa, but I've never worked with videographers, so I don't know. I don't have any horror stories, but I know all of you photographers out there listening, you have horror stories of the videographer too. So
for sure.
We're not coming at photographers. It's on both ends, absolutely. But we've had some interesting experiences with photographers.
Yeah. I mean, even just any wedding vendor, to be honest, or drunk uncle or random grandma, there's tons of funny stuff. But one particular moment, I think you would like to share.
Yeah, I would love to share. So we're at this wedding, and the photographers, you know, they're there, and they were related to the couple, which is, I think, the reason they were there. And you can kind of tell right when you meet someone kind of what their style is. And I remember meeting them, their husband-wife team. She was carrying a stepping stool and like a big bounce thing around with her. And that was my first impression. I'm like, oh gosh, oh boy, here we go. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but the best photographers I've worked with don't need to bring a bunch of modifiers with them because you don't have time. And when you're trying to work with a videographer, you don't want all that crap. Like I remember during the portrait session, we had to move out of the shot so she could set up her stool and like have this bounce and stuff. And I'm like, I've never had to deal with this before. But anyways, the moral of this story is we were shooting the guys getting ready. And we're in this room, hotel room, mustard yellow walls, because for whatever reason, that's the choice that they all make. And we're in this room, and it's full-size windows. One of the exterior walls was windows. It was like this conference room or something. It was in a suite. And as filmmakers, I walk into the situation. My first inclination is to shut off the lights because I don't want to compete daylight with tungsten lighting.
And the yellow walls.
If you're a photographer, you understand. You don't want to be competing with different color temperatures, making people's looks just terrible. And so I asked this photographer, I'm like, hey, do you mind if I shut off the lights? And I've never had somebody say this to me, but he looks at me and he's like, no, actually, I would love it. I would prefer it if you could leave them on. And I was just like, okay.
Yikes.
But I need to shut them off to get the shot that I need. And so he like wouldn't let me shut off the lights. And so I didn't want to it was pretty early in the day. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to choose my battles. I'm not going to pick this one. I'm not going to die on this hill. But I shot it. We didn't even end up using any of it.
No.
So it was a bummer. And the moral of the story is wedding vendors need to learn to work together. Turning off the lights would have just for a few seconds to
helped everyone.
Would have helped everybody, but
just don't be that guy.
Don't be that guy.
Don't be that guy.
All right, next story.
I got bit by a dog one time on a video shoot. So we drove out to this random farm in the middle of Iowa.
It was in Iowa.
So in the middle of Iowa. I'm from Iowa, so
like East Iowa though.
This is pretty normal farmhouse. Like I grew up on a farm for the majority of my life, so I get it. I love dogs so much, and we pull up to this place. We're popping the trunk, grabbing all of our gear, loading it into our gear cart, and we're going to shoot this little interview section. We're going to shoot this little interview segment by their home. So we put all the gear in the gear cart. Austin's going to kind of check out a good angle of where we want to set them, and I'm just pulling the gear cart. Well, these huge German Shepherds roll out, and I'm like, oh, puppy, like, hi, dogs. And I'm like, wait, one of these dogs looks kind of mad, like it doesn't want me around. And I had a bunch of gear in my hands and I'm rolling the cart and it just kind of started circling me. We were standing there and then I stopped and I'm like yelling at the owner. I'm like, hey, like, I think your dog doesn't like me. Like, can you call it? And he didn't say anything. And the dog came up and then bit me right in the butt. And I was like, oh my gosh, I was kind of in shock. I never had been bitten before. So I started shaking a little bit. And then I actually like looked back and pulled my pants down a little to see like where and actually blood was drawn. And it wasn't like a really gnarly bite, but I mean, it freaked me out. And I didn't know what was going to happen next. And the owner comes, she goes, oh, and she's like petting the dog. Oh, I'm so sorry. Like saying sorry to the dog and not me, which was really interesting. And then I was like, yeah, can you please take your dog? I would feel a lot more comfortable if you put him inside. Oh, I don't know. He's never done this before. You just must not like dogs. I literally was appalled.
I missed all of this, by the way. I was off doing something else.
So not only did that happen, which was whatever, she had zero remorse and she didn't care that it happened to me.
Dismissed it as if it was your fault.
And then it was my fault.
Yeah.
And so I left that place. So we shot the whole interview for like an hour and a half after that. And I was livid.
So let's back up because I missed all of this.
Yeah.
So I was gone. I didn't see him get bit. So I'm like coming back to set up for the interview.
Yeah.
And Darren's just pissed.
Yeah.
I have no idea. I'm like, what's going on?
Yep.
But you didn't want to explain it to me in front of them. You know, you wanted to kind of just get through the shoot, get it done with. And I didn't understand the severity of it until really we had left and you're like, look at this. Cause it was it didn't like take a chunk of skin.
Yeah.
But it broke skin.
Yeah.
And it bruised up. And if the dog hadn't had rabies vaccinations, it could have been a really bad deal.
Totally.
And so I come back and you're just livid.
Yeah. So long story short, they were kind of jerks about it. The company that hired us for the interview were super nice about it. They ended up sending over the rabies vaccination papers to, assure my safety, and they handled it very professionally, but I was livid and I was just not happy that I got bit by a German Shepherd. Don't be that guy.
If you have a dog and it bites somebody, unless they're provoking it, but that's not something to take lightly.
That's not cool. Don't be that guy.
Don't be that guy.
Next, we had a beautiful wedding one time.
Yeah. So if you shoot weddings and you have a couple reach out and they tell you they're getting married at a Catholic church, I would recommend that you call that Catholic church and find out their rules ahead of time. So to fill you in, we were at this church shooting this wedding. Everything's great. We meet the lady that, there's always a lady at a Catholic church. It's the lady. She's the one.
She runs it.
She tells you all the rules and where you can and can't stand, whatever. So she walks us through all of that. We're good. We have to stand, on the outsides once it starts. We can't go up in the altar. That's okay. I understand. So we have this plan. I'm chatting with the photographers. Mm-hmm. We're getting our plan together, being proactive, using that time to get a plan together. And I get one shot. This is right before the ceremony starts. So everybody's in there. And I wanted to get a wide shot just going down the aisle. Mm-hmm. I like those shots. Shows the bigness of the cathedral.
Yeah, it was really pretty.
There.
Yeah.
It's usually symmetrical, so it looks cool.
Yep.
I get the shot, and then I go get in position for the ceremony. And this lady walks up to me, and she goes, "You cannot stand in the middle aisle. What you just did was very distracting." And I'm just like, first of all, I just had a conversation with you, and you didn't mention that I couldn't stand in the center aisle.
Right.
And she's like, "Oh, did the photographers not tell you? I told them to tell you or something." And I'm like, "No, sorry." Whatever. And I wanted to, again, you have to kind of pick your battles, and I wasn't going to die on that hill either, but I'm sorry. It wasn't distracting. So anyways, she basically comes up to me. This is 10 seconds before the ceremony is about to start.
Yep.
So I almost was just like, why are you telling me this now? I don't have time for this, but I try to be respectful, try to get along with everybody as best as I can.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, okay, so I have 30 seconds to come up with a whole new plan for how I'm going to shoot this. And it worked out. I don't think we really ended up using much of it. Yeah. It definitely wasn't as good as it could have been.
Totally.
And I don't really understand why in some churches they think that the experience is so important. I think they overestimate how much these couples actually care about the ceremony in some points.
Sure.
But it's just, So anyways, you have to could probably cut all of that out. don't really want to be a jerk towards Catholic people. But
Yeah.
so yeah, you have to learn to adapt. I had to switch my angle right before. So don't be that guy. Call ahead and find out, I guess. So I guess I was the guy in that one. Even though it wasn't my fault. I'm not gonna
No, it wasn't.
take credit for it. But so moral of the story is don't be that guy.
Yep.
If you work for a Catholic church, communicate. If you're a filmmaker, communicate beforehand. Don't be the guy that walks in front of everyone and is so distracting. Just don't be that guy.
Yeah, don't be that guy, Austin.
Yeah, sorry. It's so distracting. You know what else you shouldn't be?
What?
You should not be the guy that crashes drones.
That's true.
So,
Have you been that guy?
I've been that guy.
Yeah.
Have you?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, I watched you crash a drone one time.
I heard you crash a drone one time.
Yeah, so you can tell your story first because you crashed it first.
That's true. I did. Early on in our company, we were shooting a wedding in downtown Omaha. And as every good filmmaker does, you put the drone up and you get an established shot of the venue. And so
of course.
Put the drone up really quick and did a little pan around the building. Well, there's a lot of buildings downtown and I didn't see one of them. And I just crunched the drone right into the side of the building and it literally like flipped sideways and rode the entire brick building way down, probably, I don't know, 50 or 100 feet.
Yep.
And smashed into pieces. And so we kept our cool and we brought all the mangled drone pieces back into the hotel.
I remember we're like trying to hide it. We're like, we don't want them to know we crashed our drone. Like,
yeah.
We don't want them to feel bad. Or
Hey,
like,
it was a Mavic 1. So, I mean, it forced us to upgrade into a nicer drone until Austin
I crashed
that one.
I did actually watch you crash it. I remember.
So you were
it.
the guy because you didn't help me.
No, I wasn't watching the whole time. I looked up and saw you heading straight for this building, and I like yelled out, but it wasn't in time.
Got
it. Maybe I was that guy, but I was for sure that guy at a recent wedding last year.
Mm-hmm.
We had a Mavic 2 Pro, and it was awesome.
Beautiful.
And we just loved it so much.
I know.
And then we're at a wedding. And, you know, you got to do it for the shot. So
Got to do it for the shot.
There's some shots you can't get without taking some level of risk. So
Yep.
we're talking to the bride. She's super excited.
Yeah.
And we're like, hey, we're going to do this drone shot. The venue is beautiful. It's in this all glass building. So we're like, hey, get the whole wedding party. We're going to have you guys stand in this room. So we can see you from the outside.
Mm-hmm.
And it was nighttime. It was probably 11 o'clock at this time. And it's like nearing the end of the wedding day. It's the last shot we're going to get. So we're like hyping up the bride, super excited.
Mm-hmm.
And we do a few practice runs, practice shots.
Yeah.
And on the very last one, the real shot, the one that went into the film, and I don't think the couple knows this as of now. So, hey, if you're listening, you know who you are. But it was the last shot of the night.
Yeah.
It was the real deal. We're going for it. And I'm pulling away. I'm backing up. I'd done this practice a few times, so I'm feeling good about it. And I am pulling out, backing up. And I hear a sound. And I look at the thing, and the video freezes. And I knew immediately what had happened. I had just backed straight into the building right behind me. I didn't go up enough, and so I didn't go over the building. It was dark. I had checked. I was trying to find the drone, and for whatever reason, like the LEDs that are on the drone weren't on, so I couldn't see it. It was too dark. And so, I crashed it into the building. Thank goodness that DJI saved that clip in the app because that clip was corrupted on the card in the drone. So I went back, recovered the drone, and thankfully, we were able to somewhat salvage it. It's not as high quality as the one that would have been on the drone, but we put it in the film anyways, and it looked fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was really sad because it was like we were about ready to leave, and the day was going really, really well.
It was great
until this happened.
Yep.
And my heart just sank. And but we got a Mavic Air 2, and we love it. It's great.
Yep.
So yeah, don't be that guy. Don't crash drones.
Don't crash drones. Don't be that guy.
Anyways, that's some horror stories.
Yeah, we have a lot more that we'll talk about in the future
episodes, but just wanted to break it in a little bit, see what you guys think. Let us know if you like hearing horror stories, or you like hearing of people that make shoots go south or north or whatever. I have another story.
Oh, you do?
We didn't talk about the photographers that were just blasting their flash.
Oh man. outside.
So we'll have to save that for next one.
Dang. Yeah, we have plenty.
So we'll do more horror stories. But
Yep.
let us know what other content you'd like to see.
Yep.
I know this was kind of a short podcast, but we hope you enjoyed it.
And if you did enjoy it, please, if you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, you know what you should do? You should leave us a rating because it makes us feel good inside.
Yeah. And a 5-star rating would be even better.
Oh, it's the best. We're at 5 stars right now. I don't even know how many of you are listening right now, but you know what? We appreciate all the love and support.
Yeah.
And if you are watching on YouTube, please like, comment, subscribe to our channel, hit the bell for notifications so that you are notified every single Wednesday that we drop this podcast.
Right.
And we also drop video every single Friday, Content Fridays. So it's different stuff. It's a lot of fun, but we hope you enjoy. We thank you for the support. We love you guys so much, and we will see you in the next episode.